Hi everybody, I'm Kevin Coupe, and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy. So, we talk a lot here on Morning Newsbeat about obsolete business models. Well, a prime example of an obsolete business model got delivered to my door this week in the form of the current edition of Newsweek. Look at that lovely cover, isn't that great? Newsweek had on its cover, this got arrived on Tuesday, the royal wedding, which now, beyond the fact that this is one of the most overcovered events that I can remember, the royal wedding magazine cover got delivered on Tuesday. Now, a few more important things have happened in this country since the royal wedding, right? There was a little thing like the killing of Osama bin Laden. They didn't have it. Now, clearly, this isn't their editor's fault. It's not like they missed the story. They just put the magazine to bed before the killing of Osama bin Laden. They missed it, and this shows up. But this just puts a spotlight on why the folks at Newsweek have to look at the dead tree issue at Newsweek and say to themselves, is this an obsolete business model? Or should we at least be looking and trying to figure out when are we going to kill this thing? Because this simply just was ridiculous when I saw it. I mean, it's like who cares when it shows up? And if you have a weekly news magazine, you can't afford to have it show up and have people, say, who cares? And one question I would ask is how many retailers sort of make the same mistake? How many businesses make the same mistake? They've got the traditional model, they've got this thing, this flagship, and they don't want to kill it because they have a certain amount of allegiance to it, but it's outlived its usefulness or is well on its way, and are they beginning to plan for a time when it's simply not going to be relevant anymore and they just might have to kill it and get rid of it? Now, I have a couple of other problems with Newsweek. The week before, and this is really sort of interesting to me, the week before I got this magazine, it had the Olsen twins on it. Now, I got to be honest, I saw this, it's about how the Olsen twins, I guess, are now billionaires. I looked at this and I went, ooh, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to read the magazine. It's so unimportant to me. It has nothing to do with my life. Again, I'm used to getting news that's more targeted, that at least is geared to more my interest, not necessarily reinforcing my preconceptions or my misconceptions, but I at least want news targeted to the things that I'm sort of interested about, That was just completely off base. I didn't want to open the magazine. Again, how many retailers are making the same mistake? That they're creating products and services for a mass market. It's like sending me cat food coupons. I have a dog. Cat food coupons are useless and they sort of annoy me. Retailers have to be able to differentiate between their customers, know who their customers are, what their customers want, what their customers are thinking, what their customers need. This is a case where Newsweek had no clue. Advertising Age had an interesting editorial this week, and they were talking about the failure of the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric and the fact that Katie Couric is leaving. And the point they made is that when they hired Katie Couric, basically they tried to tweak the Evening News a little bit to play to her strengths. And that didn't work, basically they got rid of the stuff that was played to her strengths and tried to shoehorn her into a format that was as old as Walter Cronkite, And that didn't work, and now she's leaving. And the point they asked were, well, two things. First of all, is the evening news even relevant, at a time when people are getting so much news and information via their computers, via their smartphones, and all sorts of other sources other than the television, That's number one. And number two, who puts on the evening news at 6:30 at night? Most people aren't home at 6:30 at night. They're out working, they're picking up their kids, they're doing this, they're doing that. Fewer people than ever are sitting around the television at 6:30 at night trying to find out, gee, I wonder what happened today. Basically, they didn't address the real problem. Again, how many retailers are making the same mistake? To use another metaphor, how many retailers are choosing to do a tweak when they should do a remodel? And how many retailers are choosing to do a remodel when they should just do a tear down and build up something new? We as retailers have to be careful not to make these same kinds of mistakes. Because you very often don't get second chances with consumers. It's not like television where people are always switching around. If a consumer goes into a retailer and it's irrelevant or it's speaking to somebody else, very often that consumer is not going to come back. And retailers have to be careful not to make that same mistake. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this Thursday morning. As always, I want to hear what's on your mind.